You're listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver.
What the hell is that?
Podcast.
Hello, everybody. The Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast is on the air, and we are here to tickle your ear and entertain your funny bone that is wrestling. We're going to talk some wrestling. We've got lots of stuff to cover, so we don't have time once again for any of this bullshit insanity that is the pre-show / intro of this podcast. We're going to go ahead and get right to the main event. We've got a lot to cover. We've got picks. We've got AEW Dynamite. We've got a lot of shit to go over. So let's get right to it. Ransom the Madman, Poop the Bard, Beef the Legend, and the best damn Chooserweight champ there ever was, Tigerbomb Tom. The four people that you love to hate because we hate you back are here. We're queer. At least Beef and I are. And what happens behind closed doors between us is none of your damn business. So don't you judge us on our torrid love affair. Listen, before we start, I've got 2 questions for each of you. I know we're going to go ahead and start with picks. However, my 2 questions are this, and I'll call on each of you respectively. It doesn't have to be a long thing. Just shout it out. Question number 1 is, first off, how you guys doing? Second question is, and I'm sure we will cover Dynamite in greater detail later. However, since we are doing picks, I want to go ahead and throw this in as a potential pick, even maybe / prop bet. The former Big Show, Paul White, on AEW Dynamite this Wednesday announced that at Revolution there will be a signing of a Hall of Fame-worthy superstar, wrestler, whatever you might call it now. So the question number 2 is, for an actual pick or prop bet, we can discuss that later, who do you think will be debuting at AEW Revolution? Poop, 2 questions, go.
I'm doing well. I'm knocking on the door of 700 pounds on my leg press. I may or may not have cracked a vertebra today while I was doing box squats. And I bought an office chair to replace my current office chair. And I was like, man, this is going to be great. I sat in it and I was like, nope. And I pulled my old chair back in because it's my chair. It's my chair. It's one of those things. I'm too picky. I'm too picky. But other than that, I'm doing pretty well, man. All things considered, lots of guitar work, and yeah, it was all good. As far as
question number 2,
yeah, as far as that goes, immediately my brain went, well, it's not who you think, and I immediately went, well, it's not CM Punk then.
Belch.
I think it's either going to be Lesnar or Ricochet.
Ooh, interesting picks. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the legendary letdowner himself. Not that he's a letdown, but the man who brings you the legendary letdown, though we haven't had one of those in a long time. Beef the Legend. Question number 1, Beef, how you doing?
If I were any better, it'd have to be twins just to handle it.
Woo!
Good to hear.
That's a good response. Question number 2, who do you think the surprise signing for AEW is going to be?
Fucking Poot took my picks. I mean...
we know his answers now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was... My head's telling me Ricochet, my heart was telling me CM Punk. Lesnar's not out of the question, but just to be fun, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say either Christian or Thea Trinidad.
Those are interesting picks as well. Let's go ahead and go over to our resident champion, Tigerbomb Tom. Tom, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Just started a Metroid Prime 3 playthrough today. It's definitely a little different than the first 2. But we'll see how it goes. And I just started... I just played Killing Floor 2 for the first time last night, and it was absolute fucking chaos. But I'm still going to give it another shot next week and see how that goes. It was one of those things where I felt I was like, I was like Ricky Bobby in fucking Talladega Nights. I'm like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, they're like, everybody's like, no, you're doing really good. You haven't died yet or whatever. I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I was like, okay, that doesn't help if you tell me I'm doing good. I don't know what I'm doing good or bad. But yeah, we're the girlfriend and I are well, more so her. I'm kind of along for the ride, but she is still house hunting. She had a bid in on a place. However, unfortunately the bid didn't get accepted, but that's okay. We're at the beginning of the process. So like within the last month, we've looked at like 3 houses together. She went the other night, Monday night, and took a walk through and looked at one and put a bid in on it, but didn't get that one. So, keep trudging away. We're at the beginning of the journey, and we'll find something. And I'll be closer to you faces once we do find something.
Excellent. Number 2, what do you think about the AEW signing? Who do you think it's going to be?
I'm not thinking Ricochet because I don't know. I'm not aware. Obviously, like none of us are really aware of people's contract situations, but I thought they just used him like at the Elimination Chamber. So I know he's been buried for a while, but I don't know. I don't see it being him. It could be Punk. The thing that he put out on social media could be a swerve. It'd be amazing if it was Lesnar. That would be fucking phenomenal. Who was the other one that Beef said?
Christian and Thea Trinidad.
Who's the second one there?
Zelina Vega.
Oh,
what if it's Aleister Black?
Dude, that'd be fucking huge.
Tommy
Black, right?
End. I love it.
That would be good. That would be good. You know what? I'm going to go with that. Aleister Black and I'm going to say Aleister Black or possibly CM Punk.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
How are you doing today?
Well, first off, nobody gives a crap how I'm doing, so
yes, we
it's none
do.
of your
Well,
damn
that's
business.
why I asked you, jackass.
I'm keeping it close to the vest.
How dare you?
So stay tuned for surprises later, or there's nothing to be said. Number 2, I think I did see, maybe I saw the same article Beef did about Christian. He's been cleared to wrestle, according to that article, and other than doing the Rumble and then maybe the night after at Raw, he hasn't been seen since. Even though Edge did return, I really don't think the WWE probably sees anything for Christian at this time.
No.
And again, just like Paul White, if Christian feels like he still has something to contribute and AEW says the same thing, it might be a good pairing. So it wouldn't surprise me to see Christian. And I also saw an article recently where Poots boy, Marty Scurll, has been pulled from wherever the hell he was going to be at.
Ring of Honor.
Because of,
New Japan Strong.
All right, because of New Japan. Pulled from there because, he's done naughty, bad things in the past, yada, yada, yada. Well,
keep your dick in your pants.
Another gentleman who has done naughty, bad things in the past, and I really don't give a shit if you don't see it on the same level. I don't necessarily see it on the same level either. It's still naughty, bad shit, no matter how you slice it. Is that little boy who used to be in Jericho's stable when he said, boy, I'd like to just rape the hell out of her, or whatever he said. So he's been in the doghouse too, but AEW seems to be able to look past that and move forward. So if there is a company that is maybe willing to look past something and say, hey, you did a bad thing in the past, but you've made amends, or you've said, hey, my bad, I shouldn't have done it, whatever the case may be, you're not going to do it again. Maybe, just maybe, Poots boy Marty Scurll could be showing up in AEW. It's always a possibility.
I'm not going to lie, I would love that. And listen, I understand that this is one of those heavily gray area topics. And we have pontificated on the Marty Scurll thing before. What he did from a legal standpoint in the UK, okay, that's the other thing. You have to really make that clear before you comment on this. In the UK, from a legality standpoint, there was arguably nothing wrong he did. From a moral standpoint, that's a whole different can of worms. However, Marty Scurll was absolutely transparent about all of it. He was. Yep. He was 100% transparent. He didn't deny. He didn't try and double backtalk. He said, this is what happened. And he admitted his fault. He admitted his wrong. He admitted all that. And he said, and everything. Like, he is getting really raked over the coals and really thrown out. But what Marty Scurll is doing is exactly what you should do in this situation. You should shut the fuck up and low-key yourself. That's he did. He was like, he made a statement on it, and he admitted fault, and he admitted everything. He didn't deny anything, and then he shut the fuck up.
He even came out in support of his accuser.
Yes,
he was
did.
Hey guys, don't attack her. She's free to say what she wants to say. This is what happened, and I understand that you can view it from a different lens, but here's how it looked on my side, and that was that. So the one hang-up I have on Scurll, we didn't need to get the picks, but I'm just going to say this real quick. The one hang-up I have on Scurll, because I thought that too, or that he could be the mystery guy in the ladder match, but two things. One is that with them having this burgeoning relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling, if New Japan saw fit to take him off of their show, I don't know that AEW would want to start burning that bridge, as it were.
But do you think?
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just to counter that. I'm just saying, do you think it's possible that they pulled it off it because it's like, no, let us deal with it. Like, put him on our show, do that, and have it be on our side because you have X, Y, or Z. Because they're, you know what I mean?
The other thing I'm going to say is that, and this was kind of buried in last week's news. There was going to be a big benefit show for I think women in wrestling, something of that nature. That Joey Ryan, I don't even think Joey Ryan was heading it up. He was appearing, but Joey Ryan is one of the more maligned guys. Like, fucking surprise, the guy that wrestles with his dick is has all these accusations levied at him. Anyway. When Tony Khan got the memo that Joey Ryan was appearing on that card, he immediately pulled all the contracted AEW talent off of the card and said, nope, that's not happening, which basically then had the event fold because the AEW guys, I think were like Brian Cage and Sonny Kiss, were like the tent poles. So like without them, So
look, I want to say one more thing here before we get into picks because I don't want this to go too long. On the one thing that Beef had said, it was either Beef or Poot. I can't. Oh, wait, no, I don't know. Someone had said about him, New Japan saying no, thank you. We don't need him, and the relationship between New Japan and AEW. I think the main thing to consider is, yes, there is a relationship now between all of these different companies. However, they're all still their own separate individual companies. So at the end of the day, they have to look at their bottom line and what is best for them. So if AEW says, you know what, we can really do something with this guy. He's done some things. He's made amends. He's kept his nose clean since then. We can capitalize on it. I feel like they would probably take that opportunity, even if New Japan said no, thank you. I feel like AEW would have to say, look, we still have our own company to run. We have to put our company first, and then our relationship with these other businesses second. And if Marty Scurll is going to be the best thing for them to do to sign him and promote him and, for them to make money together, they could just keep him away from anything that is, involving New Japan, which I'm sure they would do. He could, strictly be an AEW guy. He doesn't have to branch out to other promotions. But I think probably at the end of the day, if they feel like it is going to be beneficial for those two parties to do business together, that they would probably do that as opposed to worrying about like, well, this company didn't want him, so maybe we shouldn't take him either. I don't know. That's just my thought on the matter. Could be dead wrong. Usually am. Let's jump into picks.
Yeah, speaking of dead wrong, it's a new month, ladies and gentlemen, which means that we are all back at 0-0 after a terrible February. I think Tom Ransom and I we're like barely treading water. Poot didn't even get to 500.
Nope.
So like we're looking to rebound pretty good. So our first opportunity is AEW Revolution.
What else?
Is there just two? Is it Revolution and Passing Lane?
Yes.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, that was. Thank you. That was going to be my question. So.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Plus, I figured if you guys want, we'll throw the NXT picks for next week on there. They should be quick and easy. If not, that's cool too. All right. So AEW Revolution coming up Sunday, 8 p.m.
Sunday.
Yeah, a diversion from their normal start time of 7 because of UFC having a hell of a card on Saturday, and then on Sunday, obviously they're going to be facing the NBA. So, it's going to be a difficult weekend for them, but I'm excited. It's going to be a fucking hell of a card. Starting on the pre-show, we have Riho and Thunder Rosa versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Rebel. Let's start with Poot. You did so well last month. I'm going to start with you, buddy. Lead us off.
Or the champ could start, as we historically have done.
I don't know why you got to throw a wrench into the plans of the man who is heading up picks.
It's fine. Tom, would you like to start us off then?
If not, I will.
You know what? It's a new month. Let's try something new. Go ahead, Poot.
Okay. Yeah,
yes. Right. Good job, Tom.
Fucking most corporate bullshit champion ever. All right. I love you,
champion.
Tom. I love you, Tom. I love you, Tom.
Too.
I'm gonna go with Britt Baker.
Baker and Rebel. All right. Okay, Ransom. Again, it's Riho, the returning Riho. She's been back for, I think, a match. And Thunder Rosa versus Dr. Britt Baker and Rebel.
Ooh! Yes? Was somebody saying something?
Nope, never mind.
Excellent. I'm going to go ahead and probably...
Retconned.
I'm going to say... Team Thunder Rosa.
Okie dokie. Riho Rosa. Tom, what you got?
Thunder Rosa and co.
I, too, am going with the face team of Riho and Rosa.
Changing my pick now because I was not paying attention and I thought it was a singles match. I'm already doing great this month, guys. I'm sorry. I'm a little preoccupied trying to figure out if I, cracked a vertebra or not.
That's okay. That's completely
Excuses.
So you're going with the face team as well?
Yes.
Okay.
That was a hell of a vape drag.
Right?
Okay.
AEW putting a spin on their Casino Battle Royale this time, being a tag team Battle Royale. And it's going to go quick, so listen up, folks, even those of us who aren't paying attention. The tag teams are Bear Country, which is Bear Boulder and Bear Bronson, versus the Dark Order, Alex Reynolds and John Silver, versus the Dark Order, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, versus the Inner Circle, Santana and Ortiz, versus the Butcher and the Blade, versus Private Party, versus Top Flight, versus Death Triangle, which is represented by Pac and Phoenix, versus Varsity Blondes, which is Gift Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr., versus Matt and Mike Seidel, versus SoCal Uncensored, Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels, versus the Natural Nightmares, which is Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall, versus Chaos Project, which is Luther and Serpentico, versus the Gun Club, versus Austin Gunn and Colton Gunn, versus TBA.
Good Lord.
Yes.
Wow. Fuck me running.
Now, assuming they treat this Battle Royal like they've treated their other Battle Royals in the past, they will have their hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades, which will enter at random intervals and just come out in groups. I love the Casino Battle Royal, by the way. I think that's a great gimmick. We'll start with Ransom on this one.
I have no earthly idea, so I'm going to go with Inner Circle.
Okie dokie.
Because honestly, that's the only one I remember other than the Dark Order.
Tom, who you got?
I have a question, though.
Yes.
So with this Casino Battle Royal, is it like the winner gets a tag team title opportunity at all or anything?
For a future AEW World Tag Team Championship match.
Okay. Who are the two Dark Order teams?
Reynolds and Silver and Uno and Grayson.
Reynolds and Silver, Dark Order.
All right, let me note that here. I am going with LAX, formerly known as LAX, Proud and Powerful, Inner Circle, whatever you want to call them, Santana and Ortiz as well. Although TBA is interesting here. If TBA is FTR, I think that it would be them. But we'll see. I suppose I'm still going with LAX. Poot, who do you got?
Triangulo de la Muerte.
Nice.
Pac and Phoenix. You got it, buddy.
I should have been a bastard, just said Dark Order, and then had it not been specified. Like,
that would have been the true heel champion move, but there are some heel lines.
To be fair, you don't
ever go full heel.
You're also assuming that me, the record keeper, would not catch that.
Stranger things have happened.
Also true. Tag team match. Miro and Kip Sabian with Penelope Ford versus the Best Friends, which is represented by Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. Tom.
Best Friends.
I am going with Miro and Kip. Poot.
I really wanted to say Best Friends, but I'm also going to go with Miro, Team Miro.
Ransom?
Ransom says Team Miro.
I mean, that's the thing. Both of these are not a bad call. I think you need to lean on the fact that there might be some not Chucky T, who's
Penelope Ford?
No, not
Orange Cassidy.
No, the third one of the Best Friends. Trent Beretta, thank you. I was like, there might be some Trent Beretta fuckery. But
I don't know what his injury is, so I don't know how deep he'll get.
I think it was either neck or shoulder.
I think it was shoulder.
Yeah, shoulder.
Probably not too involved as of yet.
Yeah, because it wasn't too long ago that he got hurt.
Right.
So there's one reason I didn't pick Best Friends, and that's because my boy Trent Beretta wasn't in it. And everybody knows I do love me a Beretta. But he's not in it, so...
Well, plus he's got those awesome Bill Murray knee pads, so you gotta love that.
Yeah, he does.
I do.
The tag team attraction, which is Team Taz, Brian Cage and Ricky Starks with Taz, versus Darby Allin and Sting.
Oh, this is a foregone conclusion.
The street fight.
Yeah, it is a street fight. That is correct. I mean, maybe not. I honestly kind of wrestled with this a little bit, no pun intended. But I did go I did end up going with Sting and Darby because how do you bring Sting back and have him lose? They're not WWE. Please God, they're not WWE. Poot, who do you got?
Same. Like I kind of did the same thing, but because it would be great to push Team Taz like that, but again. I feel like Sting and Darby Allin, the way they've been building them, it would not make sense for them to lose.
Oh, let's not forget that AEW really treats their pay-per-views like conclusions of storylines, so and where like a new one starts. Unlike WWE, where everything kind of fucking bleeds together, this is supposed to be a conclusive thing. I don't know. Ransom, what do you think on this one?
It's definitely Team Sting for me. Like has been said already, I would really hope that AEW would think better on it and not pull a WWE and say, hey, this is the first time that this icon is showing up here on our established show, pay-per-view, whatever. He's one of the biggest damn name Hall of Famers ever. For them to say, even if it is a street fight and even if it doesn't matter to me. I don't think that Sting losing in any form or fashion, even if it's Darby Allin that gets pinned or submits or whatever, I think that's a super bad move. Sting is debuting. Sting is one of the biggest names ever. He needs to go over in at least his first match. Send the people home happy. That's what the people want to see.
Got to give the people what they want, which is our champion, Tigerbomb Tom. Who do you got?
Who was Poot was saying about having it'd be good to have Team Taz going over or getting over. Just remember, you don't have to go over to get over. So they'll definitely be getting the rub from Sting being there. So to quote Tony Schiavone, it's Sting.
That it is, my friend. The women's title, which we're going to circle back around to and talk a little bit about, because I think we have some good opinions coming up on this. But regardless of where we stand with our opinions on it, the title situation stands as Hikaru Shida, the reigning defending champion, versus Ryo Mizunami, who came through the Japanese side of the Eliminator Gauntlet, whatever the hell they were calling it, to determine number one contender. She beat Nyla Rose on Dynamite in a decent match. Poot, who you got?
Who's the champ right now? Hikaru Shida?
Yeah.
And no, I'm sorry. I got like a little dizzy.
Oh shit.
I think it's time for Shida to lose that belt. I think it's about time. I think Revolution is fit for that. So I'm gonna say you said Riho, right?
No,
not Ryu. Ryu, yeah.
Ryo Mizunami. Yep.
Yeah, Ryu.
So you're picking Mizunami? Alrighty.
Yeah, I'll give that. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Forgive me.
No, you're good, man. Take your time, buddy. Ransom, who you feeling on this one?
Take your vitamins and say your prayers, Poot. Ransom is going to pick the incumbent.
Tom?
Just because I know nothing about the challenger, I'm going to stick with Shida. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't have either Nyla Rose, we'll discuss that later on as well. I'm surprised they didn't have Nyla Rose or Britt Baker or Thunder Rosa make it to the finals to challenge Shida. But yeah, I'm sticking with Shida on this one.
I too am going with Shida, although I think that Ryo Mizunami looks like the female version of Kazuchika Okada, even including the Rainmaker getup. So maybe there might be a Rainmaker in Hikaru Shida's future. All right, the big money match, where the winner receives the loser's 2021 first quarter earnings. Interesting match, because it puts something on the line, but it's not necessarily a title. I dig it. Been a great build-up. We have the Hangman, Adam Page, versus Big Money, Matt Hardy. Ransom.
I just first off, I don't understand this gimmick. Simply because
it's like a prop bet.
Yeah, almost, because A, nobody believes that that's actually going to happen, and C,
well,
how on earth is there any sort of like, you're not carrying around a briefcase, you're not carrying around a title, it's just kind of like, hey, I won the match, I got their first quarter earnings, yay me. But in any case, I'm going to go with, yes?
It's all part of the big money Matt thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go with Hangman.
Tom?
Hangman.
Ransom, thank God you finally picked somebody different than me. I'm picking Matt Hardy. He's been very shiesty the last couple of weeks. I love just a real quick descent here when 10 lost his match for the ladder match. His spot in the ladder match. Jack Evans went up to the ramp and Hardy handed him a fucking manila envelope with like the numbers 4,200. You may as well fucking hand him like a sack with like a dollar sign on it.
Pretty much. That's great.
I love it.
Big money.
The announcers covered it. Oh, he just earned himself $4,200.
Big money Matt is fucking hilarious. I love it.
This is an extension of his initial Impact, probably not initial, but an Impact persona that he started up.
Yeah.
And then he went to Broken Matt Hardy after that. And Broken Matt Hardy I loved Big Money Matt in Impact, and I thought that he was a fucking perfect heel, and it's translating well here.
It absolutely is. And the Big Money Matt thing in Impact was really funny because on his YouTube channel, when it was in its infancy, he was doing these things where he's like, "Hi, I'm Matt Hardy, and I have a problem that I want to talk to you all, and it's very serious. And he would be like, I have too much money. And it was hilarious. He'd go around his house. He'd like open up to get a fork, and there'd just be like $100 bills spilling out of the drawer. And it's like, it was, and he'd sit there and he'd go, this is, I don't know what to do with all this money that I have earned from my talent and superior ability. It was the best. Like, it was so funny. If you can go back on YouTube and find them, like, watch them. They're really good
stuff.
Going off of that, when he first came back to WWE before he was woken Matt Hardy, I believe on his Instagram and stuff, he was doing something similar to that when he's like, no one knows what it's like to be Matt Hardy. Yeah.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I found those pretty entertaining. But again, back to the picks.
Climb back up the ladder here. Poot, who you got for this match? Adam Page versus Matt Hardy.
Oh, absolutely big money, Matt. Absolutely big money, Matt, because I feel like it would just push Hangman further into drinking. And it'll make it like, my thought was like, it'll push him further into drinking. He won't wrestle. He'll just appear in backstage vignettes and he won't perform. And like his merch will be like for shit. And Matt's going to be like, what are you doing? You're ruining it'll be like this whole big thing. Like,
push him more towards the Dark Order too, you know?
Exactly.
Hitting the bottom of the barrel. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I like that thought process.
I have a quick aside there. Well, not a quick aside, but a quick question. I thought it was their, it's not I thought it was the first quarter earnings of 2020, not 2021.
No, it's
2021.
Because nobody earned a damn thing in 2020 first quarter. Everybody fucking lost money. All right. The face of the Revolution, which is a cool name, ladder match for a future AEW TNT Championship match, which apparently, according to Tony Khan, is going to be held on Dynamite next Wednesday. So quick turnaround time. We have 6 spots. 5 of them are known. Cody Rhodes with Arn Anderson, Scorpio Sky, Penta, El Zero Miedo, Lance Archer, Max Caster, and TBA. Lance Archer appearing with Jake Roberts. We start with who ended that one? Poot. So that means Tom's. No. Yes.
I started that last one, I think.
Okay. Yes. So then Tom will start this one. Sorry, I got lost in our discussion.
That's okay. Give me the rundown of the participants again.
Cody Rhodes, Scorpio Sky, Penta, El Zero Miedo, Lance Archer, Max Caster, and TBA.
Who the fuck is Max Caster again? Oh, that's the Acclaimed. Yeah. That's right. I was gonna say, I should know because we were just talking about that because that was the whole big money Matt involvement there, and what's his nuts from the hybrid too. Yeah.
Oh, Jack Evans, yeah. Jack Evans.
Shit. I kind of almost want to say to be announced, but I don't think it's going to be Cody because of the whole caveat that he's had ever since the whole MJF thing where he won't ever challenge for the World Heavyweight title again.
Keep in mind, this is for the TNT title.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. That's right. For the TNT title. Correct. Okay, my bad. Scorpio Sky.
Motherfucker.
Eat a dick.
Yeah, I'm picking Sky as well. I thought I was fucking picking up on the dark horse, man. He was healing up real good on commentary last night. I think it's time for a heel Scorpio Sky television championship run. So I am all in on Scorpio Sky winning the ladder match. Poot, who you got? I am
still torn between Scorpio Sky and Max Caster because that's Platinum Max Caster, right?
Yeah.
Dude, he had a really good showing. Like of course with this match having to be Penta El Zero Miedo, I really wanted to just pick Penta and be like, man, Death Triangle just takes over the universe on this pay-per-view. I want to like TBA is really interesting to me, and I almost want to go on a limb and say TBA.
So let me give you my opinion just to kind of shed light. I think TBA is going to be.
Give you my opinion to swerve you into picking how I want you to pick.
No. You pick however you. but I truly believe that TBA is going to be Shaq because after he took that bump, He got loaded into the ambulance, and then he just disappeared.
Which
Like,
was
they were
really
like,
weird.
Where's Shaq? And then that was it. They didn't mention it again the rest of the night.
Didn't you just say at the beginning that Shaq probably wouldn't be here because of the NBA thing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know what I did. That's interesting. That's okay. So then maybe
Holes in your walls.
You're probably right with Scorpio Sky. Penta's been eating a lot of shit sandwiches, though. That'd be cool. Penta versus Darby Allin. Oh, come on. Like,
Do it. Do it.
you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb. This will be the one I go out on a limb for. I'm going to say TBA.
Ransom, who are you thinking?
Ransom loves a TBA pick, so that's Ransom's pick.
I hope it's
Done it
Archer.
before, I'm doing it again.
Realistically, I hope it's Lance Archer because that dude,
Lance Archer's
fucking
in
deserves-
the match, Beef.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying I hope Lance Archer wins the match.
Yeah.
Like he deserves a proper television title run. I don't see it going down in this scenario. All right, so tag team title match: the Young Bucks versus Jericho and MJF. No special what have you. Just a straight up tag team match for the tag team titles. We will start with me this time. I'm picking Jericho and MJF to take the titles. Poot?
Gammy Beef, I'm going with Inner Circle as well.
Ransom?
Jericho's the GOAT. I'm picking Jericho.
Tom?
Make it across the board, baby.
Which means the Bucks are definitely going to win.
Oh,
as
yeah.
usual, as is standard fare.
Yeah.
And then in the main event, in a exploding barbed wire death match.
Say that 5 times fast.
In which the ring ropes will be covered in barbed wire. I think they're going to have like the little fucking like things between the ring ropes that are going to stuff them up with barbed wire. C4 is going to be going off. It's going to be a fun match.
The whole shebang.
The whole fucking show. And I think they'll go full on here, like full on Japan style, because they really leaned really hard into it this week. So I do believe it's going to be a great match, and I do believe it is Poot's pick. So go ahead, Poot, and throw us with who wins the title.
Who's gonna win it again?
I'm sorry, Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley. Thank you for calling me out on that.
I don't think it's Kenny Omega's time to lose that belt. Because he has not had it very long, and I feel like AEW is not going to like anyone who holds the AEW belt is just going to like sit and stew with it for a little bit. And I think it will. I know this is Jon Moxley's wheelhouse and everything, but I don't think it's time for Omega to lose that belt. So I'm going Omega.
All right, Ransom. Kenny Omega is the incumbent champion with Don Callis, and Jon Moxley is the challenger. Who you got on this one?
Not going to go long-winded here. Just going to say this. My unofficial pick is Terry Funk. My official pick is Kenny Omega.
What the fuck?
Good call.
Middle-aged and crazy, man. Tigerbomb Tom, who you got?
Geriatric and crazy at this point.
It's got to be Omega. Is what's her Renee Young or whatever? Is she still preggers, or did she have her kid? Or
Yeah, she's still pregnant.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's got to be Omega. Not only is it not his time to lose the title, but I feel like maybe this is a good way to give Moxley a little bit time off. I don't know how soon Renee is due, but is she due soon?
I think she would have to be. At least in the next couple months.
You think? I don't remember whenever they made the announcement.
Hold on,
I can't remember.
Let me check. Hold on. Beep boop bop boop
Yeah.
beep boop bop.
While Poot's looking
Renee,
that up.
babe, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing well too. Who is this?
Oh, my.
Don't
Well,
you
here we
worry
go.
about that. Okay, are you still preggers, and are you due anytime soon? Right. Okay. Yeah, bye. I'm
Madness is
gonna have to
taking
go
hold.
to court.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I
I too am picking Kenny Omega for all the reasons stated. It's weird wearing a John Moxley shirt as we speak and picking Kenny Omega, but that's why I'm in a Moxley shirt today because I know he's not going to win.
Moxley.
So yeah, Kenny Omega, FTW. I think that there's going to be some chicanery with the Good Brothers, and it's just going to pile up too much for Moxley. So, boys, question: do you want to pick next week's title matches for NXT, of which there are two, the heavyweight and the women's title? Do you want to knock through that real quick? Okay.
Let's do
Yerp.
it.
All right.
Yerp.
Okay, let's do it then. So, Ransom, the main event of the NXT next week will be Adam Cole, baby, versus Finn Balor, the defending champion. Who you got?
I want Adam Cole to win, but I'm going to say Finn Balor.
Tigerbomb.
Ditto.
Boy, I want so bad to say that the whole Adam Cole thing is going to happen where the Undisputed Era actually is not broken up, but I can't see them yanking the title off on a fuck.
I'll yank your title off.
Beef,
God,
let me pull a U here, Beef. Didn't we say that Adam Cole's contract was up soon?
Man, we've been saying that for 2 years.
And also that we've been postulating when they were going to call Adam Cole up to the main roster.
Here's the thing, man. Like, every instinct in my body is telling me to pick Finn Balor here. But here's what we don't know. We don't know if they're going to have a show on WrestleMania weekend. I doubt it at this point since we haven't heard about it. Second is that we know that they're moving to Tuesday nights coming up in April. Again, that's not been officially announced, but that's probably going to be Regal's big announcement next week. What better way to pull eyes onto Tuesday night than a title change on free TV? Talking myself out of it. No, I'm picking Balor. Poot, who are you picking?
Oh. You know what? Again, because I've resigned myself to the fact I'm never ever going to hold this belt ever again.
You will relax.
Wow.
All good things must come to an end.
Dude, when you said that, it honestly triggered me to whenever people talk to me like I'm a child, and I honestly wanted to just yell "fuck you, Tom."
That's okay. I wouldn't have taken offense if you did.
No,
all good things must come to an end.
Well, apparently your title reign's never going to end then.
Only the good die young. I'm a dirty, rotten bastard, so I'll live forever.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? I'll just be different. I'm going to say Adam Cole. I'm going to say there's fuckery about, and I'm going to go with Adam Cole. Why not? Fuck it. Let's see if WWE does something fucking interesting.
And then we have Io Shirai, the defending champion, versus Tony Storm. Is it Tony time, Tigerbomb Tom?
This is the title change that you get on free TV. It's Tony time.
I am picking Io Shirai because every time I've picked against Io, she has let me down by winning. So I'm picking for Io this time, which means, of course, she's going to let me down by losing. Poot.
It's Tony time, baby.
Ransom?
She's great. Tony.
Man, Tony's hips got all you guys hypnotized.
Yes,
all right.
I would.
Yeah, now listen. Io,
Juice
she's
Robinson's
so pretty.
so lucky.
She's so pretty.
She's so pretty, but let me tell you this. Those hips don't lie.
Listen,
and if they do, I'll still watch them. So it's Tony.
I just love the fact that Ransom and Tom are so infatuated because they look at her hips and they get that dad like trigger where they're like, she could father some children.
Listen,
It has nothing to do with dad.
Never mind. I'm not gonna say it.
It has everything to do with her looking phenomenal.
Here's the thing, like her thighs are so thick that my wife 2 weeks ago was like, man, she is thick. And I'm like, okay, all right. Like, that's how you know Tony Storm's a real one.
Beef immediately was like, yes, I now have a pass to talk about how thick Tony Storm is.
Yeah, buddy.
All
Now,
right,
listen,
so
hold on. Before we recap this, I just want to ask, we did touch on it at the beginning. Do we want to make the surprise signing a legit pick? Do we want to go crazy and make it a legit pick?
I say
Because
prop
look,
bet.
it's
Just
so far out there that the chances of any of us getting it right could be very slim. So it could be very interesting if one of us doesn't get it.
How about this? If there is a tie and someone has it right, that makes them the winner.
I like it. I like
all
Poop's
right, now,
reasoning.
does that include the champion's advantage tie or not?
No, that's
that
the
includes
point.
all ties. Yeah. So like if at the end of we'll call it for the end of this segment. At the end of this segment of March, meaning Revolution, next week's NXT, if there is a tie, then we will count this as a point, and someone gets this right, we will count this as a point towards them.
Yeah,
As a
sounds good.
bonus point. Okay.
bonus point. Okay.
Rundown. I'm cleaning up some space here. Pre-show, Rio and Rosa versus Becky Baker and Rebel. We have Rio and Rosa across the board. Casino Tag Team Battle Royal. Ransom and I picked Proud and Powerful. Poot picked Death Triangle. Tom picked Reynolds and Silver. Miro and Kip versus the Best Friends. Poot, Ransom, and Beef pick Miro and Kip. Tom picks the Best Friends.
I would like to change that.
Changing the
Stupid
pick.
math changer.
Miro. Kip.
I got a
Okay.
change coming too, so don't worry.
Sting Darby versus Team Taz. We're going Sting Darby across the board. Sheeta versus Ryo Mizunami. Tom, Ransom, and myself picking Sheeta. Poop picking Mizunami.
I'm changing that one.
To Sheeta, assuming.
Good deal.
I guess that would be the only other.
Yes.
That's the only.
All right. So moving on. Big money match: Matt Hardy versus Adam Page. Poot and I picked Hardy. Ransom and Tom picked Page.
My turn to change. I'm changing to Hardy.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, fuck. Now I need to change something.
You don't have to change anything.
Listen, you're an English major, not a math major. It's okay.
We've got another pay-per-view coming up. You don't have to change anything.
Face of the Revolution ladder match. I have Scorpio Sky. Poot and Ransom are sitting on TBA. Tom is also picking Scorpio Sky. The Bucks versus MJF and Jericho. We are Jericho MJF across the board. Omega versus Moxley. We're Omega across the board. Balor versus Cole. Poot sticking his neck on the line for Adam Cole, baby. The rest of us going Balor. And Aew versus Tony. I am going Aew. The rest going Tony.
And her hips.
And her hips. And as far as
That ass.
Juice Robinson has no right to be with someone like her. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
That's coming from a chud like me, but like, look, you know.
As far as potential signings, we have I am saying Christian or Thea Trinidad. Poot saying Lesnar or Ricochet. Ransom is saying Christian or Marty Skrull. Tom is saying Black or Punk.
I'm gonna change one.
Okay, everybody at once.
No, listen. If we're gonna make this a pick, we really should be narrowing it down to one pick.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay.
Wow.
Don't be mad. Just narrow it down there, you
I'm
cranky
just
bastard.
trying to roll through here. Okay. Well, I'm gonna pick Kurt Angle. I'm going off the reservation. Kurt Angle.
Wow.
Do it, Steve Dave.
Poot.
I'm going to go with Tommy End, a.k.a. Aleister Black.
Ransom.
Marty's girl.
Tom.
Tom, are you dead?
Oh, sorry. I said Christian. I'm sorry. I must have said it so loud that I did the whole Christian.
Aha.
It didn't register.
And I did it so loud it didn't register. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Stupid Discord.
So,
Stupid Discord. You just made the list.
This is it. This is the last call for picks, ladies, gents. All gents. Last call
No.
for picks, gents. Ooh, anybody else want to change anything?
Ransom's locked in.
Who?
There was an AEW one that I was considering changing.
Well, consider it quick there, Buster. Your bedtime's coming up.
I'm trying to think about it. No, I'm good. Fuck it. I'm good.
Tom?
Good.
The ladder match has tripped me up now, but I'm going to go with my gut. I'm locked in. All right, so that's Revolution. Let's talk about Dynamite. Because
there's no BS here in Dynamite.
No, right?
That is such a great shirt, and it works on with the double meaning. I love it. No more, no bullshit, no big show. I love that shirt.
I think that this was one of the best Dynamite episodes that I've seen in recent memory. Probably the best this year, especially for not having like any push towards the main event, and I mean they basically had like sub matches that would have been on the card, I think, like Jurassic Express and FTR with Tully Blanchard. So I mean it was a great night of action. That's my only fucking gripe with Dynamite was fucking Tully Blanchard getting a pin. Like, come on, dude. Listen, I love this idea of Dynamite's like, hey, okay. They have a stacked card for the Revolution pay-per-view, and they're like, hey, we have too much talent. Let's do the overflow matches to Dynamite. And, damn if it didn't come off really good. So, yeah. So, two things.
That's fine. I'm just saying Tully Blanchard should not have gotten a fucking pin. Like, if he did, have him pin Marco Stunt. Like, that just pissed me off.
My big thing with that whole thing was the whole like impetus of the Four Horsemen. Like, oh, we get it. Like JJ Dillon's there and Tully's there, and Arn comes out and they're throwing at the four. But you're missing the biggest name of the Four Horsemen. Let's not mince words. Like the Four Horsemen is somewhat synonymous with Ric Flair. Yes, you may have three of the Four Horsemen, but you don't have the most important one.
Yeah.
I love.
As far as I'm concerned, if you don't have Ric Flair, you don't have the Four Horsemen. You got the three Ponymen.
Ooh, that's fair. That is a fair point. I love Shawn Spears coming back. I love him seemingly aligning with FTR and Tully kind of having a stable.
That's good. I like that.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm good with. That I'm good with. But my biggest thing is that if FTR if Team Tully and FTR was going to go over, having somebody from FTR themselves get the pin, not Tully himself. He doesn't need it. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things that I think keeps the feud going. So I'm here for it. Tully looked really good, by the way, especially for his age. He looked very, very good in the ring.
Yeah,
I love that you did have about this Dynamite beef.
I did. There are two. So the first, and this is not really a complaint. It's more of an observation, kind of like that's ballsy of them. Is them outside of like a 5-minute promo about Moxley and Omega, didn't really have anything with this on the Go Home show about their main event. It's an interesting gambit. And yes, I know that there is that 1-hour special that's after Dynamite. I haven't watched that yet. I plan on going back and watching it because they probably push it pretty hard on that.
Ooh.
But it's
the countdown to Revolution.
Yes, but it's a very big gambit to say, here's our marquee match, but we're not going to talk to you about it tonight, the lead into the pay-per-view.
Oh, sorry. There's also going to be something Saturday night. There's going to be a special AEW Dark on Saturday, so I bet they push it then too.
But I gotta believe that. Sorry, Ransom, real quick. I gotta believe that Dark on YouTube reaches maybe a 10th of that fan base that you would have seen, especially because the ratings are in. They came in just under 1 million viewers, probably because of Shaq, honestly, and he acquitted himself well. But I mean, like, that's the time that you really, I don't know, like it's a bold strategy call, and let's see if it pays off. Go ahead.
What's I'm sorry. What are we talking about?
Like them not really pushing the Moxley Omega match on Dynamite.
They don't have to.
They really didn't.
They don't fucking have to. It
You're-
sells
no,
itself.
You're right. To be honest with you, the minute that they said exploding barbed wire, I was like, okay, there goes my $50 to buy this pay-per-view. Like that's all. That's literally all they had to do. So, fair point. Go ahead, Ransom.
Before Poot came in like a car crash, what I was going to say was, I imagine probably the reason why they didn't push that so much was because after they announced it already, they probably didn't need to. I would imagine that anybody who is involved as a fan with AEW knows what's coming up and knows what they're going to be witnessing. They're going to be witnessing something crazy. And like you said, Beef, I think they probably concentrated on putting everything they could in this Dynamite that they couldn't fit into Revolution.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that it's one of those deals, kind of like Sting in the Powerbomb. Like, they gave that away on TV because they were like, hey, you know what's coming.
Just wait.
And I imagine that they didn't beat this horse to death because after they announced it already, they're probably like, look, you know what's coming. We don't have to promote this to death. Not shitting on WWE, but kind of shitting on WWE. Their go-home show before the pay-per-view is always push, promo, this, that, it's coming up. I think AEW is confident enough in their product and going, it's coming. This is going to be a barbed wire death match. It's going to be crazy. We don't have to talk about it because our product speaks for itself.
It's a good point. Fair point.
So my real gripe is the handling, the mishandling, the criminal mishandling of the AEW Women's Eliminator Tournament. Now, I am not going to make a lot of bones here about this. NXT has a far superior women's division. WWE main roster has a far superior women's division. If AEW has one problem spot, it's the women's division.
Yep. I think one of the biggest, I would say one of the biggest problems, I'm sorry, does anyone else feel like the women's division, at least a substantial portion of it, feels like Kenny Omega's pet project?
Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking, buddy, is that Kenny Omega is like, hey, you know what? We should get these Japanese talents involved. And you know what? Hey, I'm all for that. But
Same.
When we talk about the Japanese talents I want involved, I'm not talking about like 40-year-old talents who were big back when Kenny was in Japan.
Like Aja Kong.
Yeah.
Right, like Aja Kong, who's a legend. Like Rihu Mizunami, for example. Or the magical girl, I forget her name. Like, so many of them, the Freddie Mercury wannabe, like, so many of them were clearly big when Kenny was in Japan that he was like, these are the ones that I want to attach my boat to. In Stardom right now, they have a great crop of talent. And I mean, I can't say enough for Stardom. Stardom brought us Asuka. Stardom brought us Toni Storm. Stardom brought us Io Shirai. So, on top of many others. So, like, if you're bringing people in from Stardom, okay, all right, I'm here for it. But these Japanese women that he's pulling, I think, are past their prime, with the exception of Riho and Hikaru Shida.
Here's the biggest problem, I think, is, and I mentioned to you guys before, it's like anything else. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, how long you've been in the business. At the end of the day, you have to be able to garner emotional involvement. You have to be able to, you have to give me a reason to want to like or hate the wrestler that's coming to the ring. And the thing is I don't know shit about these Japanese women. And, you have to give me a reason. And now apparently there's some sort of history between Shida and her opponent. For the life of me, I can't remember her name. Sure. But the thing is much like this happened before the one other time, and I can't remember. I think this might have been the first time around whenever there was right before Shida got the title. There's a history behind them, but we don't know it because we haven't been, they haven't given us enough promos or information on it. So I get that.
Back to my first point is that the handling of this whole thing is criminal because they should have been putting, and I get it. Dynamite's a 2-hour show. You only have so much time. But if you're going to do something like this, you can't like lock it away on your YouTube channel where people can't. They can go back. We can go back and watch any of those episodes right now. We're
Yeah.
not going to.
No,
YouTube, to me, YouTube is not like appointment viewing. I watched the finals of the Japanese side and the semifinals on Sunday night on Bleacher Report because I was like, okay, now that we're getting down to the nitty gritty, I should probably acquaint myself a little bit better. But like,
the thing is
watching the whole build up as like whatever. Like, I'm just gonna find out about it on Dynamite, and that's not gonna get me geared up for the women's match at the pay-per-view.
They should have started the tournament earlier, and then that way, if they knew that this is the finals that they were going to go with, if they had this like they were dead set on it, they could have started the tournament earlier, and then they could have actually taken a week or two and given us some sort of build up to Shida and her opponent, and have it feel like more of a payoff than just here it is, enjoy. Like, well, I don't know.
To be fair, when they were squaring off in the ring, they were doing like the strong style stuff.
Yeah.
If they take it like a strong style match, you know what? Like, we had zero build up for Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura, but it was incredible. So like, if they go that route, so that's kind of like the prevailing thing in New Japan. As a fan of New Japan, I'll say this: they don't have a lot of like intrigue and like storyline matchups. Like, yes, there are some big overarching storylines that happen, but most of the time it's just like, hey, here's a matchup. Hey, here's a matchup. And a lot of these guys have faced each other in the past many times. They let their work in the ring speak for the product.
I get that, but that's Japan, and this is the U.S., so you have to treat it differently.
But again, Sami Zayn versus Nakamura, we had no build-up whatsoever, and it was an incredible match. I think that we could be looking at the same thing here. But that being said, like, I look at this card, and I'm hyped. I'm hyped about every fucking match because I'm like, oh, man, what a great match. Oh, man, what a great match. And then I come to the women's title match, and I'm like, man, this could have been Shida versus Thunder Rosa. This could have been Shida versus Britt Baker. This could have been Shida versus pretty much even anybody. Even Nyla Rose, who we've seen a dozen times face Shida. They had a great match at All Out. So, this could have been any of those, and I think it would have been a better result. This definitely stinks of Kenny's like Joshi involvement, and again, I have no problem with that. But make sure you're hitching your wagon to the right one.
And that's the problem. Like I said, it's just that pet project feel to it, and that's kind of meh.
Maki Ito, by the way, she was. There again.
I was going to say Ransom was going to say something, and I interrupted him. I apologize, Ransom.
That's right. Beef, go ahead and finish your thought. Mine. Go ahead. You're good.
No, I was going to say that Maki Ito, she is a young women's wrestler. She was in the first round, and she lost to Ryo Mizunami. She is a Japanese idol, which is what Asuka was before she became a wrestler. She's 25. She looks great in the ring. She has a great character. If you're going to hitch your wagon to somebody on the Japan side, do that. I've read a report, FYI, real quick, that the only reason that Mizunami won the Japanese side is because she was the one willing to move to America. Which is a pretty shitty reason for somebody to fucking win a tournament.
So it's been well documented on this show. JR, I'm pulling them out. We've said it so many times before that AEW's weakness in our eyes is their women's division. Is it a possibility that they recognize that in some form or fashion, and all four of us are completely off the mark on our pick, and it very well could be whatever the hell her name is, Zelina Vega, being the person that they bring in as a very young talent? Yes, she was in WWE, but she's not, a WWE alumni like all the other people that have come from WWE over here to AEW. Is it possible that they said, hey, look, she really could help out our women's division. She's young. She's already in the States. She's not a Japanese wrestler. Let's give this a shot. Let's try to bolster our women's division with a woman who people know, but isn't an old head.
And I was gonna say, compared to
at all.
No. They could bring in a woman as the signing, but Hall of Famer, or they said Hall of Fame worthy. What if they brought in Melina?
What if they,
I mean, she still looks like a dime. So I
Trish?
mean, and she.
Trish?
I don't think Trish would do it.
I think she has put her wrestling days behind her, honestly.
I think she has.
But I mean, Melina would, but I don't know because again, like here, and I'm trying to temper my expectations for the signing on Sunday because I kind of get the feeling that it's going to be an old head like Angle or Christian or Mark Henry or maybe even the Big Show himself, like putting himself over. Who knows?
That's a twist.
You know, it really, and it would be a great way. You know how Show likes his heel turns. So,
but isn't he already signed though? Like
he
said
is.
They're going to do a signing.
He is, but like, what better way to put yourself over as a wrestler to be like, you know, who the big signing is? It's me, Paul White, the big sign. You know,
God!
like that.
Although, real quick, going off of that, I do like how he said he's like, yeah, nobody saw that turn coming, huh?
Yeah,
and I was like,
the no more BS like shirt. Oh, I love that. You know, it's a little impacty, but it's just done well enough that I'm okay with it. And I don't know what WWE. Well, I know what WWE did to him, but like recently, I'm like, man, I fucking okay, like that. I'm okay with it though. I like Paul White being
for
there.
Sure.
So the way he said it though was he said Hall of Fame worthy or Hall of Fame-esque. He didn't say a Hall of Fame talent. So if we're going to believe what he's saying, that really leads me in the direction of somebody who has not yet been inducted into, I say the Hall of Fame, because honestly, the Impact Hall of Fame doesn't mean jack shit.
Right.
So it leads me to believe that it's not somebody who's already in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Ooh, EC3.
What if it's that's a good pick. What if it's not a wrestling Hall of Fame at all? What if it's like the Pro Football Hall of Fame and a guy like, I don't know, Pat McAfee could show up?
Now,
what?
While that's crazy and would be, jump out of your seat, probably worthy pop, with everything that he's done in AEW, NXT, do you really think that he would jump ship so fast to AEW? I figured that they would have locked him into some sort of contract.
For the money? Yeah.
Let me pose this to you though. What if Pat has been like sending text message after text message to Triple H, being like, "Hey, do you guys need me? Do you guys want me? Hey, are you guys doing a takeover?" And they're like, "No, man, we're good. We'll let you know if we need you." You know, like what if Pat has that itch? And like the WWE is like, we'll put him on the back burner. No one else is gonna snag him up. I saw that mentioned somewhere, and I'm like, ooh, that's fucking interesting because he is going to be a Hall of Famer in the NFL. That's no doubt about it.
So you don't think that he's under WWE contract?
I do not, because Pat's a smart man, and I think he keeps his options open.
Well, then that's a very interesting pick then, or a very interesting, guess, because if he's not under contract, and like you said, if he had all that involvement in NXT and he's got that itch and he really wants to be involved and he's like, hey, do you need me for this? I can be available for this. And they're like, nah. That's a really good point that you make, that he could be like, well, you know what? If you're not going to use me and I'm ready to be used, somebody else will.
Let's do it.
That's all these postulated people are fucking interesting, man. That's fucking interesting.
You know what else is interesting? We had a second WWE title change in 2 weeks happen on Monday Night Raw.
Thank you. I was about to segue to that too. I was going to say future Hall of Famer right there.
Yeah, right. Now I know that this is a very a very AEW heavy show.
Wow, two Freudian slips in one night,
dude. I do that all the time
from two different people.
And so here's the thing: I respect old school Impact because they had some fucking banger matches. So
yeah, they did, and their pay-per-views were 99 cents or something like that.
Yeah,
listen,
they were fucking great.
The numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you at Sacrifice Beef.
Fucking A. Anyway, Bobby Lashley.
I'll if you hear me.
broke through that glass ceiling, and he got the WWE title. Wow. I mean, great moment and all, but like, how bad does A, The Miz look, and B, the WWE title look?
Now listen, I was all set whenever I had that spoiled, and not meaning that in a cross way, but like when I saw that Bobby Lashley won the belt, I was like, oh, what kind of like bullshit, like washover fuckery did The Miz have to deal with? Listen, with what The Miz has been doing with his character and how they handled it on Monday, it was very clever. The whole 3-match, third time's a charm. You know what I mean? Like, I love that. It was like at 9 o'clock, or it was like at 8 o'clock sharp. You're going in, or whatever it was. I guess it'd be 9. Yeah, 9 o'clock. And then he feigns that stomach injury, which he looked like he was grabbing the top of his dingus there. I'm like, you might want to say hernia instead. Whose stomach is that far down by their dick? But then like, I'm like, oh, okay, it's going to be this. They're going to have the match, and then they'll move on. They'll do something else. But then having him run away, and The Miz, to be fair, is heel that makes good points. He's a heel that makes good points. And he said, I defended it. Yeah, I ran away, but it was a legitimate defense. I lost. Oh no, Bobby Lashley won, but I lost. Yeah, he did it in a shitty way, but he makes an excellent point. And then they made him do it again. And when the lumberjack match came out, it was like, it all came to a head. Was it ideal? No. Does it make the Miz look like, stellar? In the way of, like, as far as the championship, like, title picture goes, no. But it does make the Miz look good. The Miz can sell any character and make it entertaining, and he will roll with it. And even if it does make him look bad, it gets him over, because Miz will do it. And I will agree with that. I loved that they did a lumberjack match. The thing that bothered me most about all of it was Retribution's out there at the behest of Shane McMahon. Is that not completely counterintuitive to everything that you're fucking doing? Like, that was stupid.
Them planning the contracts to be exclusive to Raw was stupid. So once they did that, I was like, well, they're just wrestlers now.
Yeah, and and I'm sorry, Tom, I'm almost done. But my point is, the other thing too I want to say, was it probably the ideal way Lashley wanted to win the belt? No. But you could see the genuine joy on that man's face. And how fucking good does Bobby Lashley look with that belt? It looks so natural for him to have that belt.
Oh yeah. I mean, and the thing is like you just said, you could see the joy in Bobby Lashley's face. Like, he tried to hide it, and he tried not to break kayfabe, and he tried to still be all big bad Bobby Lashley, but you could see the smile peeking through. You could see that moment of I finally got this, to his credit, to Miz's credit, regardless of how we feel like it makes his character look, let's not forget Miz has got a Hall of Fame career, a Grand Slam champion, multiple WWE championships, multiple tag team championships, U.S. title reigns, damn near second most intercontinental title reigns. I mean, like, he's got 8 because he's one right behind Jericho. So, and Jericho having 9 overall as the most intercontinental title reigns. I mean, the Miz has he's a future Hall of Famer, no doubt. Is he somebody that you think of first ballot right off the top of your head? Like, do you put him in there in that upper echelon with like an Orton or somebody? Maybe not. That's debatable in your own personal preference. But let's not forget, Miz has been around for a while, and he's I like you said, Poot, he's willing to do it, whatever they need him to do, and he can sell the character no matter what you put in front of him. He really is that good, and it's one of those things. I think when we look back on it, we'll realize how lucky we were to have him around for as long as we have.
Now, my question is, of course, revolving around speculation.
Yep.
Assuming that WWE doesn't do something stupid, like having Bobby Lashley drop the title at Passing Lane, which, good Lord, I don't put anything past WWE these days. Who do you think we see him facing at WrestleMania for that title? Do you think it's just going to be another rematch between him? Well, I guess not another rematch because he didn't beat McIntyre, but do you think it's going to be a McIntyre-Lashley match at WrestleMania? I'm personally hoping not, because I think that would be maybe a waste or a disappointment. Do you think we see the match that everybody has wanted to see for a long time, which is Lashley versus Brock Lesnar?
I hope so.
Or do you think they really shit the bed and say, well, it's WrestleMania season. WrestleMania means old men Hall of Famers coming back, which means we're going to see Lashley and Goldberg.
No, don't you put that bad juju on me, Ricky Bobby.
I'm going to do it.
No, I think that kind of bad juju has no place in this house. I think, honestly, if we don't get a build, which they don't have a lot of time, if we don't get a build of Lashley Lesnar, I think it's going to be Lashley McIntyre. Lashley pulls out the victory at Mania, and then after it's done, Lesnar comes in, beats the actual fuck out of Lashley, and then they run that to SummerSlam.
The thing that scares me about this, and I want to get Beef's take on this right after this, but the thing that scares me about this is we have talked so many times before about how last year's WrestleMania was supposed to be Drew McIntyre's big day. It was supposed to be him winning the belt in front of that WrestleMania crowd, the giant-ass pop, everybody wanting it. And we've said it before, well, it very well could take it off of McIntyre sometime before this year's WrestleMania because we know there's going to be people in attendance. So maybe this year's WrestleMania is going to be kind of like the quote-unquote do-over where McIntyre gets to win that belt again in front of the crowd. Now, the only thing that leads me to believe that that might not happen is, again, we've talked before on the show about how maybe the McIntyre run has started to feel a little stale. So maybe they're not going to say, well, we're not going to do a rematch of McIntyre winning the title at Mania because it probably won't get as big a pop this year as it would have last year if there was a crowd, just due to the fact that McIntyre has had it off and on pretty much this entire year. Beef, what do you think?
So I kind of have wrestling ADD. Like, when I see somebody with the title long enough, I'm like, all right, I'm good. Unless there's somebody who absolutely captivates me and, like, makes my soul happy, I'm like, all right, I'm done with them. McIntyre falls in that category. I think he's great, and I think he could well be the future. But, man, don't force it. Do not fucking force it, because if you force it, he's going to be the next fucking Roman Reigns.
You know how WWE likes to force champions down people's throats, though.
Sure does.
Yeah.
Vince Russo actually came out
WWE
in support of Bobby Lashley, talking about how he should not be a transitional champion. Regardless of who he faces at WrestleMania, he should hold the title, because he says that Vince will look at his age. Here's the thing, though. Like, I think Lashley's like mid-40s, maybe. He doesn't fucking look it, he doesn't act it, and he sure as shit doesn't wrestle it. He looks like he's in his prime. And I truly believe that he's in his fucking prime right now. I don't care if it's McIntyre. I don't care if it's Lesnar. I actually want to see Lashley run with the belt. I want to see a Bobby Lashley run. To answer your question, Ransom, I do think we get McIntyre because I don't know. I think that Lesnar's number and Vince's number are going to be pretty far apart. I think that Lesnar has done as much as he's going to do for WWE right now, at least in terms of what Vince thinks. Vince is like, all right, we squeezed all the juice out of that orange. Let's toss him aside. So I don't think Vince is going to be willing to make a big payday for Lesnar.
No, I don't know about that, because just imagine, if you will, either on Mania, which is not likely, or SummerSlam, having Lesnar come in, paying him sideways 8 money to the second power, and saying, listen, you're going to put Lashley over. Not have Lashley dominate him. Have them actually have a match, but have Lashley go over. How much will that cement Lashley as a badass champion?
Oh,
That would
absolutely.
do really well for him.
Absolutely, it would. And it's, again, it would be something that it'd be a smart play because it's something that people have been clamoring for. It's fantasy booking, and I mean, I know Vince is always going to do what's quote unquote best for business. And we always complain about how out of touch he can be and stuff like that and not listen to the fans. But I really think if he's smart, I think he'll try to make whatever play he can get to get Lesnar for Mania. And like you said, Poot, I don't want to see any sort of squash match. One, I wouldn't see it being as believable on either side, regardless of who actually went over by the end of it. But two, they could definitely have a really, really good match. We know Lesnar can put in the work. We know, we know that he can sell when he wants to sell, when he knows there's good business to be done. And I think having two powerhouses like that, who are also athletic powerhouses, not just big lumbering, big fucking beefy guys, like this could be a really entertaining match. So I'm with Beef on. I can't believe I would ever actually say this since his initial return, but I want to see Bobby Lashley carry this title. I don't want to see him drop it at Mania, regardless of who he faces.
And if we're talking like marquee match, like I want to see Lashley Lesnar. I do.
Yeah.
Especially since they're both MMA guys. I think that's a natural mutual ground for them. Honestly, I think that they should have Lashley versus McIntyre at Fastlane. I think they should have him beat McIntyre with or without MVP's help. I don't care.
Yeah.
I think that they should then, yes, put out every dime that they have into Lashley versus Lesnar. Have Lesnar put over Lashley, and then, I mean, let's be honest. I can name the African Americans, and I don't want to make it about race, but I mean, let's be honest. I can name the African Americans who have had the WWE title on one hand. It's The Rock, which, if you're being real, he's Samoan, and I get that he, is also a part African American, but I mean, he's also part Samoan. Then you get Kofi Kingston, who had a great moment, but then kind of a run. I think that this is the time for them to say, you know what, let's make this guy. And again, I hate making it at its very base argument a race thing, but I think that they can make him a dominant champion. Lashley, that is.
Are you putting him on the level with a Ron Simmons?
Oh my, yes.
Good.
I think that he could. I think that he could do the same thing for the WWE title that Ron Simmons did for wrestlers everywhere when he won the NWA championship.
Speaking of people who I don't want to see lose their titles, I think it's time that we put our title on the line and let's get some Stump the Champs going.
Would agree. Real quick, we have a little bit of housekeeping to do. We were sent an email by Vapor, who did apologize, and he did say that he cannot do the simple math. The 24 is the correct answer to the question from last week. He got confused with the double championships and things run together.
You're welcome, sir.
He said so he said he's going to be taking a week off to collect his thoughts and lick his wounds.
How good of a dude is Vapor?
Yeah. Right.
He's a good dude.
Just all around good guy.
So, thank you, Vapor. That's awesome that you took the time to pen that. So we appreciate it. On to this week's question. We have who other than the bastard Pat, Midcard Maniac himself, dropping a question on us. Y'all ready? Here we go. Who were the inaugural champions in ECW? To be clear, this is when it was known as Extreme Championship Wrestling, not Eastern Championship Wrestling.
Inaugural champion. So what he wants the heavyweight and tag team inaugural champions and television?
Yes.
Okay, well, inaugural, the very first ECW champion
Shane Douglas.
The franchise Shane Douglas, because that's when it went from Eastern Championship Wrestling, and he said that they were going to make it Extreme. So Shane Douglas.
Now, here's a question though. Like when he still held that title, it was still considered the Eastern Championship Wrestling title.
No,
okay.
He's the inaugural ECW champion.
Okay, and I'm didn't Terry Funk beat him for that? Like at the first like ECW show, Fairly Legal.
Yeah,
I don't know
if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, I would agree with your thought that when he was like, okay, we are now Extreme Championship Wrestling, and he had that title, I think that would be correct. So yeah, I believe that would be the franchise. The tag and the television titles, I'm not sold on. I'll be honest, I don't even know if the television title was around at this point. It may have only been the heavyweight and the tag team.
Well, we're talking about back in the old days of when he's specifying that it was Extreme Championship Wrestling, he's just saying pre-WWE ECW buyout ECW.
Oh my,
yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
There definitely was a television championship back in there, because there was at one point.
But when we're talking the inaugural, again, he's saying the inaugural champion in ECW. I think the television title was added after the fact.
So are we under the assumption? We're under the assumption that we are talking about when it became Extreme Championship Wrestling, because he could be trying to pull a fast one on us. Because,
and again, I'll read this verbatim. Who were the inaugural champions in ECW? To be clear, this is when it was known as Extreme Championship Wrestling, not Eastern Championship.
Okay, because if it was Eastern Championship Wrestling, I do know that one, because it was Jimmy Snuka was the first one.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was the first. I know that because but when we're talking about that, it's franchise. It is absolutely franchise.
Oh, absolutely franchise all day.
I'm stuck on whether or not the television title was there or not. It may have been, because it may have been an Eastern Championship holdover.
Even if it wasn't, here's the thing: he wants to know who the inaugural champions are. So, regardless of when it came about, who was the first TV title champion in ECW?
Good catch.
Yeah, that's my point. I want to say for that one, it's either going to be Taz or Raven, I feel.
I think
no,
right. The only reason I say is because I think that the mid-card title was added after the fact, because they were like, hey, we have all this great talent.
Because
when did ECW become ECW? What day was that? Because that's like a day that lived in infamy. Because
I have no idea the day.
I don't know.
I don't even know the year. I think the year was 95 or 96. It may have been later than that.
No, I thought it was earlier than that. I thought it was like 92, 93.
Oh no! Oh my no!
No,
I don't know.
No, I think Barely Legal was their first pay-per-view, and I think that was 96 or 97. I'm not 100% on that.
So here's my thing. As far as the TV title, I'm just going to say this. I feel like it would be Taz, because I feel like I know he eventually was an ECW champion, but there's a reason why he did that whole FTW championship or whatever, because he wasn't recognized to, what he thought he should have been for a while. So he was that, the whole fuck the world thing.
I can tell you that it was not Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam held the television title after the fact, but it was definitely not Rob Van Dam.
I'm going to say I really think it's Taz for the TV title. Tag title, I'm not sure of, though. That's where
to be honest, we could probably throw a stone and say the Dudley Boys and probably be right on most ECW questions with tag titles.
Probably. But that could be the tricky part. We may be simplifying.
It may have been the Pitbulls.
Wait, we're talking about the tag.
No.
Wait, are we talking about the tag belts?
Yeah, now we're talking about the tag belts. Yeah.
Who did we decide on the TV? Did I just have a stroke?
No, I think we're kind of tabling it. Tom said he thinks Taz. I
really got a feeling it's Taz.
I'm not 100% on that because Poot's a Taz guy, and I feel like Poot would know that for sure.
Oh yeah, it was no, it wasn't Taz.
Who
No.
the fuck?
No,
The
to be the first TV champ?
Yeah.
It was absolutely not Taz.
Really.
Taz wasn't really in the like pushed really hard like as Taz. I don't know if he ever held it when he was like the Tasmaniac, but
I don't think it was around during that time. That's what I'm saying. Like,
no,
when
he
was
was
a Tasmaniac, it wasn't there, I don't
Taz was around longer than you think, but he wasn't Taz. He was the Tasmaniac, and
Right,
people
that's what I'm
don't,
saying.
like. So fuck.
My thinking was either Taz or Raven, but I mean, let's not forget about Tommy Dreamer. So, but I feel like Tommy Dreamer. I don't know that Tommy Dreamer ever held the TV title. I feel like he was always a
Dreamer
heavyweight.
he was always in the big title picture.
Yeah, Dreamer never held the heavyweight title until it became WWECW either.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
That's why it was a big deal that he won it, and he got all teary-eyed and everything because it finally happened. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Ransom, do you have anything on this? We haven't. I want to get your take on anything.
I'm listening to you guys because I will be honest here. I don't know a whole lot about ECW, so I'm trying to think back of my knowledge in ECW, going off of what you're thinking, and I agree with the Shane Douglas. I don't know about the ECW TV title.
Okay.
So let's table that. I think the Eliminators may have been the tag team champions when the changeover happened. Again, I'm not 100% on that. I think that may have been pre-Dudleys, or like the Dudleys were just cutting their teeth. But the Eliminators, and I can't for the life of me remember who Perry Saturn's tag team partner was, but the Eliminators I know were a big deal.
Cronus.
Yeah.
Yep. So that name sticks in my mind again. I could be wrong, but I want to say it's either the Eliminators or the Dudleys for the tag team titles.
It wasn't. I don't think it was the Dudleys. I think you're thinking way too late. I think you're thinking way too late, buddy. Like
Well, and here's the thing: I jumped on ECW like at the absolute fucking last minute. So yeah, I can't. And like I went back and watched a lot of stuff in like retro, but like watching at the turn. Oh, fuck. I had the DVD set too.
I do too.
The Rise and Fall of ECW.
Yeah, I know. Because don't I still have it? Because you broke my WCW DVD or something.
They didn't broke, but they didn't break. But the dogs got a hold of my dog
chewed it up.
The case. Yeah, chewed up the case real good.
Sorry, that'd be an old Yeller sort of punishable crime there. Sorry, dog.
Oh no, I wouldn't listen.
No.
They're just puppers. It's little puppers.
It was only WCW too. So
again, I feel like the thing that we need to do to try and dial something in is figure out when Shane Douglas threw the belt down and claimed it was ECW. What day was that?
Man, I'm trying to remember.
Why am I thinking 95?
I think it was earlier than that, man. I think it was 94, 93.
I feel like Poot's right.
Because, dude, when you let me borrow that DVD, I watched the shit out of it. And you would think that I would be able to sit here and I'd be able to rattle this stuff off. But like, I'm shitting the bed real hard.
Listen,
hold on.
DVD. Yeah, good.
Hold on. Let's work this backwards. When did ECW close its doors before they sold to WWE? Let's think about that. It was right around the same time because whenever WCW closed and you had the whole invasion angle in WWE, it was WCW and ECW the alliance. That was all early 2000s.
No, it was 2001. Right? Yeah, 2001 is when that all went down.
Okay. So before WCW got bought out, Was ECW bought out by WWE then? Like, did they have ECW guys in WWE before WCW went under, or no?
Funny story. Actually, just read an article about this. JR said that they paid Heyman like $50,000 a month or something. To keep the doors open on ECW with the agreement that they were that they were going to get the library. The library and being able to like handpick superstars that they wanted. So like I remember when Raw was at the Manhattan Center, they had ECW come in and do an invasion angle, and Jerry Lawler shit all over them. So that would have been pre-Raw is War. Sabu was there. That's the only name I'm really remembering as Sabu because he jumped off the Rostron.
Okay.
So that would have been, if I can remember back, because I watched the ECW DVDs that Beef had in college.
Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
If I can remember back correctly, I don't know the exact date, but I believe it was in August of '94.
Yep.
Whenever Shane Douglas said, "Hey, I'm done with this belt. Give me this belt."
It was August 27th. It was August 27th, 1994. What?
That's my mom's birthday, August 27th.
It was August 27th, 1994.
Happy extreme birthday, Tiger Mom.
All right, so we're going to go. Let's go with that. 94 was the inception of ECW as we historically know it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, I still so that just makes me feel even better about saying the Eliminators were the champions, because Saturn had a 2 to 3 year run in WCW before becoming a Radical. So
are you sure? Are you sure it wasn't like Public Enemy?
Ooh.
Public Enemy's another good one, but I think that they came along later too.
Look, I think Beef's right, because again, going back to that DVD, if I'm remembering correctly, I think the Eliminators didn't win the titles. I think they were presented the titles.
Let's go with that.
I think they were. I don't know who did it. If it was Heyman or somebody, but I think they were awarded the Extreme Championship Wrestling Tag Team Championships.
There was a lot of, but I remember back then from like that DVD and other documentaries I watched, there was a lot of like weird fuckery tag teams. Like you had Cactus Jack and Mikey Wimprek. You had like, what was Sabu? What was Sabu and Taz? What were they called?
I don't remember but there was also Sabu and Rob Van Dam facing the Eliminators a lot. I feel confident with the Eliminators. I really do. Now that we're talking about
time frame, just because of time frame. Because like I said, Saturn had a 2 to 3 year run in WCW before he jumped over to WWE. He jumped over to WWE in 2000 or like late '99. So that would have put it like 96, 97 for WCW that he was there. Public Enemy came around, I think, came after. So I'm fairly certain it's the Eliminators. I can't be certain. But.
Who was Taz tagging with when he broke his neck?
He was the tag then, wasn't he?
No.
What's that?
Wasn't he? Okay.
No, I thought it was in a tag match he broke his neck because he had like the ability to get out of the ring and stop.
Well, yeah, but I think he was the Tasmaniac still, though. I don't think he was.
Who was he tagging with at that point? Because I know it was Sabu broke his neck.
I don't.
Sabu broke his neck like fucking 9 times in ECW.
Who the hell was he tagging with?
Now that Ransom says that, I'm like, man, that sounds real fucking familiar. So I think it is the Eliminators.
I'm not taking it away from Ransom here, but I'm sitting here and I'm trying to figure out because. Fuck.
No idea.
This is hard.
Yeah.
Man,
so television title. So here's the question. Do we think that he's talking about the question do we think he's asking? Is he asking who the champions were whenever that change happened? Or for all of the titles in ECW who were the inaugural champions?
Let's not overthink this right now. We're gonna say, because he said it not Eastern Championship Wrestling, but when it was ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling.
Here's my thought. I think he's asking on the day that happened, who the champions were. And I think the answer is franchise and the Eliminators. I don't think the TV title factors in.
Okay, but still, I think
You're saying let's hedge our bets and pick a TV title holder.
I think we still need to pick a TV title because it was an ECW title, and he may want to know who the first television champion was, even if it didn't happen. Even if it didn't happen until a little later.
So we're gonna state on the record that we think that when the changeover happened, it was just the heavyweight and the tag team titles, and that the TV title was added later. Is that going to be?
I don't think
palatable?
so, because there was
No?
an Eastern Championship Wrestling television title.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when the changeover occurred from Eastern Championship Wrestling to Extreme Championship Wrestling, there was an existing Eastern Championship Wrestling television champion.
Okay.
And there was also.
And
I'm sorry, Ransom. And that's where this gets screwy, because didn't they also call, like, they weren't calling it Extreme Championship Wrestling or anything, but didn't they call it like Hardcore TV or Hardcore Wrestling or something like that before they changed to ECW officially?
Yes, they did.
See, and that's
they,
where
they,
things.
they had like hardcore extreme matches, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's where all this is kind of getting fucky. You know what I mean?
No, you're right though. Like the date that lives in infamy, the date in August of '94, when Shane Douglas said, "Piss on Eastern Championship Wrestling, we're Extreme Championship Wrestling." I'm taking that as like the dawn.
Yes.
Right. So whoever were the champions on that date, if I'm interpreting this question correctly, whoever were the champions on that date when that occurred were the inaugural Extreme Championship Wrestling champions. Right?
I guess I would agree with that. I don't
That
know.
would be the day that Extreme Championship Wrestling officially came into existence.
But whoever was, because I'm 100% on board with the Eliminators of the tag team titles, because the titles still said Eastern. So like on that day, they were still the Eastern Championship Wrestling tag team titles, whoever they were.
Wasn't there a lot of vacating back in the day too?
Oh, good Lord.
Like vacating of belts?
No more than now, I don't think.
I thought like.
All right, BRB.
This is really hard. Like the thing is, like, I'm trying to think back to that early stuff, because I got on a big kick of ECW stuff for a while. Like going back and watching to, like, you know, that nostalgia. You ever go back and watch like that stuff, even if you didn't grow up with it, you watch it for the nostalgia factor of like going, man,
Sure.
Whenever I'd watch wrestling and I'd just be into it and I wouldn't overthink shit. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like,
yes,
so
absolutely.
I would go back and watch some of this stuff and see like the Tasmaniac and Terry Funk and fucking, what was the name of the one guy? It was a really shitty name. It was like there was this Johnny Hotbody. Do you remember that name?
No.
Johnny Hot. It was. I remember like going back and watching like early stuff and just being like, "What the actual fuck? Who thought that was clever?" Like, I don't know. Like,
so I'm really trying to think of who the.
Sabu?
I'm really stuck on this the TV title. That's the one that's getting me. I know.
I don't
know.
I know. Well, let's think of the big players. Terry Funk was still doing his thing. Taz was doing his thing. Sabu was there. Wimprek was running around with Cactus Jack.
In the very early inception of ECW.
Yeah, like
Okay.
yeah, he was running
In the
around with him.
early. In
What
the
about
early.
What about Scorpio? What about Too Cold
Too
Scorpio?
Cold Scorpio, he would have been there.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, believe it or not, before they went over to WCW, fucking
Malenko was there.
Eddie Guerrero and Malenko were there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! Hold on. It could have been one of those two, because they could have carried over from Eastern Championship Wrestling as well. Because I know they had some TV title matches.
I'm liking that because it was Guerrero and Malenko traded that belt off for a while.
They had banger fucking matches.
Are we talking about the television title?
Yeah.
Yes.
We brought up Malenko and Guerrero.
You know what?
I don't know that they ever held that title though.
You're
Yes, they did.
wrong.
Yes,
you
they
are
did.
wrong.
Okay.
Yes, they did. Way early, like before they went to WCW, because you have to remember, like,
I'm liking
that
Malenko as an answer. I'm liking Malenko because it was Malenko,
thinking-
Scorpio, and Eddie Guerrero doing their thing.
Yeah. Fuck. I'm just trying to decide which one of those three. Shit. Because you have to remember that WCW came in with a lot of money and bought up ECW wrestlers.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that Malenko and Guerrero were both in ECW before WCW.
Oh yeah.
My only hang up on those two
And Jericho.
I don't think that they won their television title until after it was already Extreme Championship Wrestling television champion. Like I don't think they would have won it before and then transitioned over from Eastern Championship Wrestling.
I feel like they might have.
For some reason, I'm feeling Malenko.
I am
when
too.
you
What
brought
about
up
Raven?
Malenko.
No,
Raven
not
wasn't.
Raven.
No, Raven was still Johnny Polo at that point, wasn't he?
Yep, sure was. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm liking Malenko as an answer. I'm liking that.
We know. So are we officially saying that our answers are based upon who was champion at the time of Shane Douglas's announcement of NWA, we're done with them, we're Extreme Championship Wrestling?
Yes.
Is that what we're basing this upon?
I think it's only fair because that's when it was in. Yeah, it was there before, but that's when it was ECW.
But did they vacate the other titles upon that proclamation? Because why else would the Eliminators have been given those titles? Because when Ransom said that the Eliminators were like presented with the ECW titles, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
well, even if they vacated the Eastern Championship Wrestling titles and gave them new ECW titles, they would still be the champions regardless. So
remember when I mentioned that like titles being like the titles could have been vacated anyway.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So
I'm just so here's my hang up as far as the timing goes. I don't know. I just feel like, knowing the Maniac, he's very black and white with them. He doesn't like dwell in the gray area. So I don't think he's like thinking of that well, that's fair. But I mean, for the most part, like I don't, to me personally, I don't think he's thinking of like that exact moment when Shane Douglas held that title and said, I'm done with Eastern Championship, we're now Extreme. Like, I don't think he's thinking of that exact moment. I'm thinking he's thinking of like when it was a proper rebranding. So either the next show or whatever.
Even still with the proper rebranding, I don't feel like after the changeover they would have been like, "Oh, we're going to make a whole new brand new champion out of this." Here's my final thoughts because we're getting long in the tooth. I'm thinking Shane Douglas as the heavyweight, Eliminators as the tag, and Malenko as the TV title. That's my 2 cents.
Ransom, you sounded like you had a thought with the television title prior to it becoming Extreme. Who were you thinking with TV? Because everybody I'm thinking is like after, like Mike Awesome and like Mikey Whipwreck.
Yeah,
and
that's
RVD
way
and
after.
That's way late, yeah.
That's way after.
I don't know.
You have to remember. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say,
Scorpio wouldn't be a bad pick, I don't think. Scorpio would make sense.
Yes, whoever you're thinking of, you have to remember that these guys eventually, like Mikey Whipwreck and stuff like that, you have to think of, okay, you have to think of where they were before mid-90s or whatever, before WCW or before WWF, like before Too Cold Scorpio came over as Flash Funk, before Mike Awesome went to WCW, shit like that.
You guys talk more on this. My bladder's gonna explode.
So Scorpio was in WCW before he became Flash Funk, right?
Yeah, he didn't become Flash Funk until he was in WWF.
Right.
Right.
That was a
Right.
WWF inception.
But
so
even
Too
still,
Cool Scorpio came from ECW to WCW.
correct.
WCW
Yes.
rated a lot of talent at that point, and that's where that whole kind of generation happened of like their best products came from ECW.
Correct.
So it makes sense that we're talking Guerrero, Malenko, Scorpio.
I'm with Poot. I really have a feeling on Malenko. I just really do.
I don't think that's right. The one guy's name that comes to mind is, and he was a real like one-time shot in the dark guy. But again, going back to that DVD set, if I can remember around the time, a guy named Jason Knight wrestled in ECW, and he was a one-time ECW television champion, I believe. And if I'm thinking back correctly, he was the champion. He was the Eastern Championship Wrestling television champion when the transition happened into Extreme Championship Wrestling. So I think he was the guy that was the television champion during the time when it officially became Extreme Championship Wrestling.
Who are we
Do you
saying?
remember Jason Knight?
Jason
So-
Knight?
I'm all in on that because Ransom plucks these little things from absolutely out of nowhere, and he's usually right.
Jason
But here's the thing,
Knight.
though. Here's the thing. My ECW memory is super hazy. So I could be thinking about somebody different. I could be super way far off. I don't know. That's just my thought. I'm not dead set on it. So if the majority goes with something different, I'm happy to relinquish that and say whatever the majority goes with.
Listen. He is almost damn near batting 1,000 on these kind of things. I say we go with Ransom.
Well, look, again, I'm saying
I'm not trying to put all the
this is a
impetus
shot-
and pressure on you. I'm just saying, you know.
like all I'm saying is that this is a shot in the dark from a very hazy memory. I don't want us to use Ransom's been right in the past, so let's go with Ransom, and then it turns out that I fucked us all on this dumb question. So if we want to say it was either Too Cold Scorpio or Dean Malenko, and that's what the majority says, I'm happy to go with it because again, super hazy on ECW.
Poot, this is the one time I trust Poot over Ransom. I trust Poot with Malenko.
Dude,
Here's the thing. Hold on. Real quick, though. Like, the Maniac's laying a trap for us. Like, Shane Douglas is a given. The Eliminators come to mind right away. Like, I think that those two are pretty much foregone conclusions. I think he was looking to trip us up with one of them. And I think the TV champion
might
would
be
the one.
The reason that I made that exasperated noise is because I'm like, I literally, like Ransom, I'm sorry. I trust Truckerhead Dave over here. Like, I just do. Like,
When he pulled the Colonel out of the midair like that, and he's like, "Here's a name." It's like,
all right,
I've never even heard that name, and then it's always that name.
It's
all
like
right, let's
it's
go
like
with it then.
It's like Doctor Strange grasping the time stone out of midair. Like it.
Yep.
You know.
It's serendipitous.
All right, let's fuck it. Let's
All
just
right.
do it.
No,
All right, so
who's wait? Who's the tag?
The Eliminators.
What day? Wait, what day? I said August 27th, 1994, right?
Yep.
Sounds right.
Okay, you guys are probably going to hate me. On that show, which it was in Philly, wasn't it?
I think all the shows in Philly at that point.
Well, I mean, whenever Shane Douglas threw the belt down. Was that in Philly?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Because I know they did shows in Jersey too. So You're
For
gonna have
some-
to
Listen.
You're gonna have to come up with a pretty strong argument for me to go away from the Eliminators.
I really feel like, because this is the time I talked about Jack and Wimprek.
That would have been after, because Whipwreck wasn't even a notion until later ECW.
That's not true at all.
Whipwreck would have been like a ring boy or something at this point.
No. It would have been. It was in the. I think it was the late '80s, early '90s that he was, and then he came up.
I'm sticking with the Eliminators. I will digress and go with Ransom on Jason Knight for the TV title, but I'm
I
hard
agree.
sticking
All
with
right,
the Eliminators.
I'll go with the consensus.
All right, so we're saying Shane Douglas, the Eliminators, and Jason Knight.
Yep.
All right.
Here we go. All right. I guess last week was a bit too out of the box. Wish I could make up the rules week to week. Oh, damn! Fucking shot across the ball. The shot across the bow. ECW champ, or I'm sorry, TV champ. Jason, no night given, or no last name given. So I'm assuming it's probably Knight. Shane Douglas, and motherfucker Pooh was right.
Really?
He got us.
Wow. Well, it finally
Who were
happened.
the tag team champs?
Cactus Jack and Mikey Whipwreck.
Oh.
Well, it was bound to happen again. All good things must come to an end.
Beef, I'm going to throw this out there. I'm going to never let you forget this one.
That's fine, buddy. I was very hard on the Eliminators.
When we were talking earlier about the people who were in there, and I said in the tag, talking about Wimprek and Jack, and they tagged because I was talking about Taz and who he tagged with, and I knew he tagged with Sabu. I was like, Mikey, when was that? That was in the, and it wasn't. It was earlier than that, because Wimprek, in the time that you were thinking about, Wimprek, he had come into his own as a singles guy.
You're right. Yep.
Well, all right. So, Beef, you can contact the bastard Pat and see. Whose spot he wants to take, or if he wants to take anybody's spot, or if he just wants to come on.
I don't have a prepared, anything. I don't have any gimmicks ready.
I got this.
All right.
The bastard Pat, or whatever other aliases you might be going by nowadays. Listen, all good things must come to an end. And congratulations, you finally stumped the champs. But we will return stronger, faster, and better than ever. So you better fucking revel in this day, because you're not going to get many more of them, sir. But good job. Congratulations. And let's burrito this thing, Poot, because it is definitely long in the molars now.
Now, listen, one more question before Poop Burritos this.
Okay.
Do we now go back to being the chumps?
Yep.
Because we're not the champs anymore?
Yep.
Correct.
Fuck, we're the chumps.
We gotta earn that.
Climb that ladder.
Back. Yeah, we gotta climb that ladder back, man. Anyway.
Starting from zero. Damn.
Anyway, I want to thank the sponsors, partners.
Now everybody's gonna be all despondent and fucking downtrodden.
I'm gonna mute you in a second, cowboy. I would never mute my champ. That's a farce. I would never mute my champ. Never.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Is that what you appreciate about me, Tom?
Take it back about 25% there, Squirrely Dan.
All right. Allegedly. Anyway, we want to thank sponsors. We want to thank Sean Tischler and his work with IWC in Central Pennsylvania, and we want to thank Mr. Tiger, Tom, and his page Casual Gaming Dad on Facebook, and Casual Gaming Dad's Corner, and Casual Gaming Dad 84 on Twitch, and Casual Gaming Dad on YouTube. It's hard being a chump again.
Hey,
this is my burrito time, champ. My burrito time.
There you go.
My burrito time. Listen. You bastard, Pat. You got us because no one listened to me. I'm kidding. You got us, and it was a really good question. All this joking stuff aside, that was good. None of us even thought, oh, he's gonna go with ECW. Fuck, I didn't think he was gonna do that. You must have pulled that from all the way down in North Carolina. All right.
Wow.
No, Pat, seriously. Looking forward to having you on the show, even if you take my spot. Or if you take Tom's spot, Ransom, whoever, we're looking forward to having you on the show. You've earned it, buddy. You have thrown everything and the kitchen sink at us. You deserve this one, and I think it's going to be a really good episode when you do come on. For Mr. Alec Ransom, for myself,
Nope. We forgot a sponsor.
Oh, sorry.
Ooh.
All right.
Ooh.
I want to go ahead and thank Gould Gaming for carrying the Gaming Dead shirt. I do actually want to thank them for carrying that. Also, I want to go ahead and thank the other sponsor, Frigoff Ransom. That'd be Ransom the Madman over here. I want to thank Ransom the Madman and his YouTube channel, Frigoff Ransom. And I also want to thank Trucker Hat Dave because it's both your channels now. I want to thank you both for sponsoring it. Really appreciate it. For Beef the Legend, Ransom the Madman, myself, Poot the Bard Baby, and the best damn Chooserweight champion there ever has been, Mr. Tiger.
Uppercut.
Bomb Tom. Have a wonderful evening. I'm going to go drink a lot now.
Shout out to Trucker Hat Dave who made the episode. Yeehaw!